start. When I joined Toastmasters in 2013, we didn't have the Pathways education program. We had printed manuals that we could hold in your hands, open it and read it and write on it. And it was fun. I love, and to this day, I love reading books, like real books, not on a tablet. So when Toastmaster International introduced Pathways program, a lot of people were disappointed and not happy. People in general don't like the changes, especially big changes, and going from something that was used for years in these manuals, going online was a big challenge for many people. I think we're still learning about pathways, and Toastmaster International is still trying to improve our experience as members, developing different programs that work and that are easy to use. Some members breeze through their speeches and projects in Pathways. I took my time to finish my advanced manuals first before they were obsolete. So I didn't start on Pathways right away. I started working on, like, my first speech in Pathways was in 2018. And tonight, my speech will be the last speech of my first path, visionary communication. And as you can see, it only took me 6 years to finish. Now, if you look at Paul and Patrick, our members, if they continue at the rate they're going to finish their first path in the first year. But you know what? Everybody works differently. We all have different goals and ways to achieve these goals. So, my first advice to you as a Toastmaster member, set a goal, decide what your goal in Toastmaster is, and work towards that goal. What I would like to suggest is don't compare yourself to anyone. We're all different. We all learn different ways. We all present and go through the steps in different ways. So don't compare yourself to someone else. Some people might be in Toastmasters to improve their communication skills. They want to be better public speakers. Some people are there for learning the English or presenting better. So decide what your goal is. What do you want to achieve from Toastmasters? And if you're not sure, like when you're joining for the first time, you have no idea what your goal could be, talk to some of our seasoned members. When you get a mentor, talk to your mentor. They can put you in the right direction. The first step, your first speech, might be the toughest one to do. I have done 3 icebreakers, and I have to say, icebreakers are my favorite projects. You can talk about anything. You can introduce yourself to us by talking about your childhood, by talking about your work, talking about your goals or kids, your family. You can talk about anything. Icebreaker is open. Everybody has a different story. But if you're not sure, and we had a workshop in our club, so we showed you the way. We showed you how to start with your icebreaker, how to prepare an icebreaker. If you haven't done it, I challenge you. Start working on it. Talk to your mentors. Talk to our members. They can help you get going. I want to hear your story. We have now 11 different paths, and that's going to be changing early this year. They're going to cut out like half of those. We'll only have 6 in this year. So for new members, you might not have all the options that we had. Level 1 is same for everyone. So everybody has to go through the icebreakers, to evaluation and feedback, and presenting a speech with purpose. In level 2, you go into more path-oriented speeches. So you have something specific to your selection of the path. In my visionary communication, most of my projects are about communication. And I have most fun in level three, where you have a lot of electives, where you can choose any story to fit a project. So many storytelling options. Now, what did I learn by finishing this path? I'm definitely more confident. And if you can't tell that by now, I don't know what I can do to improve it to you. I'm confident speaking in front of unknown audience. I never thought I would present and facilitate a training session. It only took me 10 years, but I have to say I love helping new VPPRs explore their role. I love seeing their creativity, and I want to see them promote their clubs. That's something that I enjoy very much. Stepping outside the club's safety net helped me gain more confidence in presenting. I met many accomplished speakers, and I actually met two presidents of Toastmaster International by attending online club meetings. You meet all kinds of people, all kinds of leaders, and you learn every time somebody speaks, you learn something new. My second advice is to challenge yourself, spread your wings, and take on a role at the district level. Maybe start with competing at the contest, or maybe take a role as a judge, or be a supportive cast, I guess, in a contest, or take a big role like a district director. Until I decided to chase my DTM or Distinguished Toastmaster designation, I wasn't planning on doing anything besides the speeches and going beyond the club. But now I'm so glad I did. I had an extra motivation to work harder, and I learned as a public relations manager, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I learned a lot. And I was lucky to have a great mentor in previous public relations manager, Marcy Field. It was, you know what, I think of it as a school that I didn't have to pay. It was included in my membership. So learning and challenging yourself outside the club, it's rewarding. Now, not every path is smooth and nice and flows smoothly. There's also challenges. I had a couple of projects that I was stuck on and I was procrastinating on doing them, and they were level two. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Understanding my leadership style, understanding my communication style. I was stuck on those two projects. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. So what did I do? Well, I asked the Dr. Google, tell me what speeches I can do or how do I present my leadership style. I checked YouTube, and now in the last few months, I've been using ChatGPT. So there's all kinds of resources that you can use to help you get going or get an idea. So what I do is I'll search for idea, I'll make it fit me, and I'll find a project that will fit, that will that will work with my project. I'll personalize it. So I took my time with my pathway projects, and I also didn't do them in order. We're lucky now, we don't have to do them in order. It is, I guess, good to follow the order because you're learning different steps. But now you don't have to. You can just find a speech. If you're speaking about something that's familiar to you, find a project that fits. There's all kinds of different things. Facilitating training sessions was I like that. I use that as a project, and at level four, you can find a project that fits that. So my third advice, and I was told that by many Toastmasters, don't waste a speech. If you're speaking outside the club, if you're speaking at the training session, if you're speaking at your work, get somebody to evaluate you and schedule it with your VP education. Every time you do that, you'll have a project that's done, and you can continue with the next one. So don't waste a speech anywhere. And Paul, I know you're doing the speech at the epilepsy thing. See if somebody can evaluate you. Don't like that's a project that you can find in your path. Now, what did like feedback I received doing these speeches? I love telling stories, and I tend to go off my script. I write a speech, but I like to talk, and I'll just talk forever. So one of the things that I quite often get as feedback is stick to your timing instructions. I always go over time. So when you're selecting a project, when you're speaking, talk about something that you're familiar with. So if you go off the script, you get stuck. You know what you're talking about. You can always get back to it. So talk about things that you're familiar with. And now, what's next? When you finish a path, what do you do next? So that depends on your goals. Are you aiming to achieve the DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster? Or you want to be a accredited speaker? Or do you just want to keep going with your speeches and learn maybe some leadership skills? Just depending on your goals. Maybe you're not sure what to do next. Again, talk to your mentor, talk to some seasoned members. They can help you with that. There's plenty of options that you can choose continuing your Toastmaster journey. My goal, as I mentioned quite a few times, is to become a distinguished Toastmaster. And I'm very close to it, very close to that goal. But I didn't rush it. It took me 10 years. And it will be sweet to cross over that finish line. According to Helen Blanchard, past international president, if you get out of Toastmaster all there's to get out of Toastmasters, you'll never get out of Toastmasters.